Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yamin of Revolution. We will get to the truth. Justice for our people. FBA news you can use. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Well, let's get right to the content this morning. Salute.
There is a scandal going on with the autopsy reports. Yesterday, attorney Benjamin Crump said the family's independent autopsy report was not ready. And the Jackson County Sheriff's Office also said their autopsy report was not ready. Well, I'm here to tell you there is a lot more to both autopsy reports. And Benjamin Crump is playing chess, not checkers, when it comes to the independent autopsy report. And we all know Mississippi's chief medical examiner, Stacey Turner, has a very suspicious history when it comes to Black men and their autopsy reports. They have also released the GPS data of the boat that Nolan was on with those 3 white boys. And there is a glaring issue that nobody is talking about that I have seen. And just 45 minutes ago, Mama Nolan put out a heartfelt message to all y'all Nolan's supporters. There has been a ton of developments over the past 24 hours, and I have gotten you guys some inside information in that 24 hours. Sit back, relax. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, and then I'll hand it off to you, the out louder, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. For those of you who watched yesterday's video, you know I went over the press conference that was held by attorney Benjamin Crump, Nolan Wells' parents, and some other lawyers. In that video, I brushed on the autopsy because Benjamin Crump was asked by a reporter about the autopsy. I brushed over it because I was waiting to hear back from my lawyers because I had some inside information, and I wanted to be careful of how I worded it. Well, I've heard back from my legal team, and now I'm prepared to let you guys know what is really going on with the autopsy. For those who missed it, listen to what Benjamin Crump said about the autopsy. Listen very carefully, and then I'll let you in on some inside information.
Where are we at in the investigation of the autopsy? We're supposed to get it back Friday.
Well, no, we like we said, we're waiting. Let the doctors do what they do. They ain't got their autopsy back neither. So we're trying to get it right. And when we get it, we're going to share it.
There is officially a scandal going on with the Jackson County Sheriff's Department autopsy and Benjamin Crump and Nolan's parents' family independent autopsy paid for by Colin Kaepernick. Here is the information. Jackson County Sheriff's Office does not want to release their autopsy report. I have reasons to believe that it is finished or mostly nearly finished, and they would like to just say it's not finished because they want to hold back some certain information. Let me cook. Let me tell you why. They want the autopsy from the independent autopsy to be released before they release theirs, because if theirs is different from the independent autopsy, their office will explode. Not only will this case, the Nolan Wells case, be exposed, but all their other cases when it comes to autopsy exams will be exposed. And that is a nightmare that the Jackson County Sheriff's Department do not want to deal with. Just think about something here. I have more to tell you, but just think about something. If they want to get all in cahoots with the judge, Jackson, Warren, and all of the boys, whatever, and they want to, hey, we'll help y'all. We're all friends. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's all get together and help y'all. When that help results in possibly exposing 20, 30 other cases, That's when they'll start turning to each other and be like, hey, Judge Warner, I wanted to help you, but not at the extent of completely exposing the entire corrupt system. This is what is going on. If Benjamin Crump and the Nolan family release their autopsy first, the sheriff's office can go back now and change theirs after. And that is why we were supposed to get the autopsy reports on Friday, and we still don't have it. This is a cat and mouse game, and I want to applaud Benjamin Crump. I want to applaud the Nolan family. I want to applaud everybody on the legal team. This is a huge win. The fact that the sheriff's office has not released their autopsy report lets me know that they are nervous and they want to see who is going to go first. Now, I have heard also about what Benjamin Crump's strategy is going forward. I am not going to do that. I don't want to release that kind of information. I don't want to affect anything going on. But the strategy is there and it is working. They have the Jackson County Sheriff's Department on their heels, not knowing what to do. Let me kind of indirectly explain something to you guys when it comes to drowning. And this is not any sort of extensive knowledge. This is literally like you can explain this to anybody and they'll understand. When you drowned, what happens? You intake water, it goes into your lungs, you stop breathing, and you pass away. It's just simple. That's what drowning is, right? You don't need 2 months of an autopsy and exams to figure that out. If you pass away before getting in the water, if something happens to you, let's say, I don't know, maybe on a boat on the way back to land, just saying, and you pass away there, and then you get thrown in the water, you've already passed away, meaning what? You're not breathing, correct? And if you're not breathing, you're not intaking water. So literally, you could just give me the body, and I could just check in the lungs and see if there's water in there, and that will tell me everything I need to know. So that should just give you a little bit of an insight to say, like, like I can let you know if somebody passed away from drowning or not. You just need a knife, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's not really like brain surgery. Now, listen, of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but I'm just saying in general, to know quickly if somebody drowned or not, you just check the lungs for water. There is a lot going on with this autopsy, and I'm going to just put it there, put a button on that because I don't want to get myself in trouble and I don't want to get in the way of anybody else's strategy. But I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves in the comment section, but just think about how easy it is to determine if somebody drowned or not, or if they were put into the water after. Now, let's move on to the chief medical examiner, Stacy Turner, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of details. I already gave you guys some information like last week about her, but I just want to give you a little bit more details because it adds to this piece of the puzzle when it comes to the autopsy. Stacy Turner, the chief medical examiner in Mississippi, needs to be investigated, and every case she has ruled accidental, undetermined, or self-unaliving involving a Black person needs to be re-examined immediately. So you'll see here on the picture beside me, there's Nolan Wells, and then there's 3 other Black men. Okay. These are cases that she ruled that were not any caused by somebody else doing it. She's saying, oh, this was just accidental. Oh, they did it to themselves. If they mess up on this autopsy report and they get exposed, all these other cases get exposed as well too. And this is just after a week. Who knows what else she has in her history? This is just a piece of the puzzle to let you know how important and how perfect this autopsy report needs to be. It's not just going to expose Nolan. This exposes the whole entire system. 3 white boys on a boat. Maybe you're going to have to go to jail so that the whole system doesn't explode. Okay, let's move on to the GPS data. The GPS data is of the boat that Nolan Wells and the 3 white boys were on. I'm going to play a quick video here for you. They're going to tell you timestamps of where the boat was, how long it stayed on Horn Island when it came back, and how it was going even like on land. pay attention to one specific time. I don't want to tell you. I want to see if you figure it out first, and then I'll tell you after the video, to me, what is glaring about it. Anyways, I won't talk too much. Just take a listen.
Breaking news coming out of Mississippi. According to outlets NBC News and ABC News, the GPS data and audio of the boat Nolan Wells and friends traveled to on Horn Island with has now been released. According to reports provided by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, the boat would leave where it was docked at approximately 9:56 a.m. that morning on July 4th and arrive to Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. Now, when they would finally depart after claiming to last seen Nolan at 3 p.m., the boat would then leave Horn Island at 4:31 p.m. and return to its original departure dock at 5:44, according to report graphics. It then would travel into Fort Bayou around 5:52 p.m. before returning to the dock at 6:06 p.m. Later that evening, the boat would then go to Fort Bayou's boat launch at 7:19 p.m. From there, it traveled overland, presumably towed by a vehicle, to the Biloxi, Mississippi residence of the boat's owner. Now, as mentioned, a part of the story from Nolan's friends that they would have to get towed on their way back. Now, tonight, NBC would exclusively air a portion of what was discussed when it would make the call for help.
We're thinking, can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Okay, very important to note before I just say the one thing that says anything to me. This does not tell you if Nolan was on the boat, if he wasn't on the boat, if they pushed him off, there was a fight or an argument or whatever. This is just a very, very simple GPS data. Okay, it's the one thing that we're getting. Okay, fine. But to me, the most important thing here is the boat left at 4:31 and came back at 5:30 something, like an hour and 10 minutes. I went and I tracked. It's 10 miles. 10 miles on a boat does not take an hour and something minutes to get back on. I don't care what motor you have. 10 miles does not take an hour. Why? What was happening? Could it be maybe that's when they stopped and the argument happened and maybe something happened to him there? An hour and a half is a long time. To be fair, could you, and we know they were taking on water, could be, I'm just saying that timeline to me is the most important thing. Again, it's not enough to say you're guilty because on your way back, you could stop, you could chill, you could say, I want to 10, you could say, I want to do this or whatever, blah, blah, but just know like Nolan's phone was on the boat, but he wasn't. To me, that is the most important timeline in this whole GPS data. There's some other things in there that you guys are talking in the comment section, but to me, that is the biggest standout. Now, I'm going to play for you what I think is a beautiful message from Christine, Nolan Wells' mother. During the press conference yesterday, it seems like she is kind of going away from the details of the case, the cell phone, the keys, the car, or whatever, and she's really just concentrating on Nolan and letting attorney Benjamin Crump and the other lawyers handle the details and the investigation, which I love for her. And I love for her husband as well, too, Nolan's dad. Every single video I've ever made when it comes to Nolan or Carmelo Anthony or Ashley Janae or anybody is you always have to follow the lead of the parents. And you always have to, I think, in my opinion, let them lead. So I love this video for her because this makes her feel good. She's going to start off the video by saying, I know you didn't expect to hear from me. And if she feels good putting out a message to Nolan supporters, I love that for her. There's some people like, why is she on Instagram? Why is she talking? How come the white parents are not talking and the three white boys aren't talking? You know what? They didn't.
Except when she telling protesters how to protest. I never respect no parent who come out and tell us not to be violent. I respect them. We honor their fallen loved one, but nobody can tell us how to react to the death of our people. And we can't keep on, you can't keep sitting here and playing nice and being predictable. So that's the only thing, our problem I will have with the mother. She can't tell us how to react to this white supremacist violence, regardless if it was her son or not, because our neck is on the line behind this shit. That's the only thing I would say. So we reject anybody telling us how to react to violence against our people.
Lose their son. They're in a fight to not get arrested. So whatever they do is what they do. Christine is not guilty of anything. She lost her son. And you cannot tell a mother, especially as a mother, and y'all know the place I hold in my heart for women, mothers. You know how close I am to my mom, sisters, nieces, aunts, grandmothers. You cannot tell a woman how to grieve for her child. So I feel like this is beautiful. Watch this video. And I'm also going to tell you another post she put up of a color that she is letting everybody know that she wants them to wear at Nolan's funeral. Take a listen to this video.
Hey, Boo Bears. I know you probably did not expect to see me, but I had to come on because I wanted to acknowledge all of your love, your support, your kindness that you guys have been showing me. I wanted to answer each and every one of you, and I probably will at some point. I will at some point, but right now it's just, everything is so heavy. Everything is so heavy. Just been going through the motions. I'm a healthcare provider, so I talk about grief a lot. And now to be on the other side of this is, it's a lot. So I lost my mom a few years ago, and that was hard. This loss, this grief, this pain, it's different. It's insurmountable. And then it's like you get these flood of emotions all at different times, and grief is so multi-layered. 1 second I might be okay and I can talk about things and I can listen to his stories, and then the next minute I am falling apart and I feel like I can't breathe, and I feel like there is an elephant just sitting on my chest. But I know this is the process. I have a wonderful support system. I have my faith in God, which I've been leaning heavy into. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I see you. I love you. I'm thankful for all of you. And I'm so sorry that I hadn't been able to reply. I don't know exactly when again I'll post. For some reason, it does help. And I know if Nolan was here, he'd be like, Mom, just keep talking to the people, keep telling my story, keep telling your story. So that is going to be my plan. Again, thank you all so much. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Like I said, a beautiful video. To add to that, Christine also put out this post of this color blue. And she said, for those who want to wear color, this is the blue you can wear. I showed you guys yesterday where it's going to be, I think, the Mississippi Coliseum. It's going to be a huge event. Media can be there, open to the public, et cetera, et cetera. Love this for her. Love this for the family. And I love that we're going to see this blue. I'm assuming it is a blue that Nolan likes. She didn't put that in the caption. There's got to be some sort of connection. It means something to her or Nolan or whatever. But like I said, it doesn't matter because that's what she wants. So I hope anybody that's going to go out there, you're wearing this blue. Also to note, this comes from Christine's Instagram account. This is not something from another account. This is not, that video is her. It's not AI, this, whatever. Y'all know when you see something on this channel, it's legit. I do my facts, my checks or whatever. This is all legit. That was her, and this is the color. So for those of you who want to support, you could support. Shout out to Nolan's mama, shout out to Nolan's papa, and shout out to attorney Benjamin Crump and his team, man. Yo, I feel positive, man. For those of you who've been following me daily, I've been on one. I've been really mad the past couple of days, and I just felt like sometimes like I don't know what to do. Today, I feel good. Today, I feel like Nolan's family and his attorneys have a leg up on the sheriff's department. They have them on their heels, and they have them with their backs against the wall. And let me tell you one thing about, the government or State Department or Sheriff's Department. They will do what they can do for their people. But the second you try to come after the whole entire organization, oh, no. Sorry, Judge Ashley Cole. we may have gone to high school together, but we ain't going to sacrifice the entire system. because this entire system holds all of us up. I was like, sorry, Warren's gonna have to go to jail, Judge. You know what I mean? Anyways, like I said, I'm in a good mood today, man. Shout out to Nolan's parents and attorney Benjamin Crump, man. Y'all sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this autopsy scandal. Let me know what you think about Stacey Turner, the chief medical examiner in Mississippi that's about to be unemployed. Let me know what you think about the GPS. Hey, everyone's going to see it differently. Let me know what you think about the timestamps and et cetera, et cetera. And please send a shout out to
Y'all, we missed the most important part of this Nolan Wells story. And shout out to Hype Plus, because they were the first one, or at least the first YouTuber that I saw that actually told us this. Y'all can actually Google this, okay? This is how you know that this is a cover-up and they are not trying to solve this case. Nolan Wells' body was found in the same area, the same place that they reported to have issues. Was Nolan Wells, did they have a fight and somehow he fell in the water? What happened here? Something is not adding up. What is the coincidence that his body was found in that same area? Y'all, we got to get into this. Make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. This is going to be a short video because I just wanted to go back and research some information. And now that I have it, let's get into it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Guys, let's get into it. Listen, this is shout out to Hype Plus. Like I said, I went and I looked it up, but y'all, we're going to get into this. Keep in mind, Nolan Wells' body was actually located in the northwest tip of the island. So let's kind of get into this. I don't want to share this one, actually. I got a few tabs open, but let me kind of share something with you guys. I actually went back and looked this up, but we're going to get into this right here. This is coming from, is it Sidebar? Wait a minute. I got too much shit open. What the hell? Is this the right one? Give me a second. I got way too much stuff open. Okay, let's get into this one.
Reporting about audio dispatch. So NBC News has obtained audio of what seems to be Nolan's friends calling for help when their boat was in trouble. Listen to this.
We're thinking, can y'all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Yeah, so based on that brief report and accounts from NBC News and the New York Post, it appears that boat likely had 7 people on board. The boat was having trouble at around 4 p.m. The boat operator reportedly said, hey, we're at the west tip of Horn.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn and our bilge pump stopped working. I want to get this boat unsank and towed back. Unsank? Did the boat sink or what? I mean, to say that to get it unsank. Keep in mind, guys, they were at the northwest tip of Horn. All right. Now let's go somewhere else, because this is when I tell you all, I don't feel like they're trying to find who did this to Nolan, because I think that they already know. Keep in mind, it was an adult on board. He could have been thrown overboard, but get into this. Go into Google and type, where was Nolan Wells' body found? The body of 18-year-old Nolan Wells was found in the water off of what? The northwest tip of Horn Island. Wait a minute. So, you mean we can go to Google and find this shit? And the dumb A police, the sheriff, the DA, they don't find this kind of coincidental. There's too many things going on with this case that we have people who act like they don't know what is going on. This is how you know this is a cover-up. The half of the mystery is solved. Did you guys throw him in the water? How is it that, keep in mind, his body was found in the same area? Did y'all see him over there? I mean, something is not adding up. But there's so many things about this case that is so, such a coincidence. Nobody thought to ask, why was Nolan Wells' body found in the northwest tip of Horn Island? And then they did this call and basically said they were sinking. What does it say? We're here at the west tip of Horn. Okay, same thing.
And our bilge pump stopped working. I want to get this boat unsank and towed back. So the boat was reportedly towed for 3 miles, picked up speed less than an hour later. But look, that still raises a question, right? It raises a question about Nolan's whereabouts. It also creates a discrepancy in the timeline. Everybody on board? Was Nolan on board? Probably not based on the timeline, though maybe saying everybody on board is just saying, yeah.
Listen, I'm sick of not answering the full question and we're making assumptions. Was everybody on board? Yes. I mean, everybody on board means everybody that went with you is on board to come back. Something is not right. Again, as I stated earlier, I don't believe that they're going to solve this case.
Everybody's on board. I'm not saying, Nolan was there or Nolan wasn't there. If he wasn't there, I'm just saying everybody who was there was on board.
Do you guys understand when these different commentators, such as this guy and anybody who is not of Black descent, they really don't care? Do you see the difference here? When they give their commentary, they don't even use common sense. I need y'all to understand, these people don't care. They really don't care, because you have to have some level of common sense. It shouldn't be about that is just another unalive Black boy, but this is how I believe they really take it, because how many times can we make exceptions for these people? You really stole his phone, which is, I believe, a felony. His mother had to go and get it away from you after you told her that you couldn't find him, but you never said, we can't find Nolan, but we have his phone. You never said that. So nobody is asking questions. When you listen to these Caucasian commentators, they find no issue with what these people had done. This is why it is about race. But because had it been flipped around, every single person would have a problem. But how would you think, that Nolan Wells' body was found in the northwest tip of Horn Island? Same vicinity, guys. This is the same vicinity in which they stated that's where they were. Now let's check out this video from Hype Plus, because this is the first place that I saw it. And I said, you know what? Let me go back and research this on my own. And this is exactly what they said in their video. Let's get into it.
Tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Last night, we would share breaking news in regards to Nolan Wells, as audio from a tow call made by his friends around 3 p.m. on July 4th, according to NBC News, would be released. Now, in an extended version of this call, we are now hearing where they were exactly when the call was made. According to now released audio and GPS graphics, they were on the western tip of Horn Island.
We're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Now, as you know, we've been following the story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday.
the same area that his body was found. You can even find this on Google, okay? I saw it first on Hype Plus video, and I said, let me just look it up. This is the same place, guys. Because I don't believe that Nolan left his phone and stayed on the island. I believe that that's a lie because it makes no sense. Nobody, not even we're talking about a young adult, which they sleep with their phones, go to the bathroom with their phones. So you're telling me that he left his phone? This is not about him staying on no island with any girl, female, because that girl already stated that she saw him go with his friends. So all of this hoopla about him not getting on the boat is a lie.
As local outlet WLOX stated, around 8:45 a.m., Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed authorities received a call reporting a body found at the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger. Now,
this is what I want to ask everybody. Why is it that us commentators over here on YouTube and other places can find information that is readily available? Because this is information that they had before us. So as I did in my live earlier, this seems to be a cover-up, because 1 and 1 is going to always be 2, today, tomorrow, the next day, the next year. But because we have a Black boy, and I don't give a damn who like it and who zounds, okay? Because it's a Black boy that has lost his life, they don't care. And none of these non-Black commentators care. And some Black ones don't care either, okay? So I want you to understand that. Listen how they give their commentary and act as if they don't have common sense about what 1 + 1 is, okay? His body was found in the same area, but the only thing you're going to hear them say, oh, well, the call confirms that they did have an issue with the boat. What does that even have to do with Nolan? What does that have to do with Nolan? Do y'all understand how these people don't really with us like this? And we need to give it, we need to give it back to them. Stop watching their commentary on our issues. We don't need to watch it. They don't support us. I'm sure it's somebody that you can find that look like you that is even more intelligent. They use us for everything they can use us for and don't even support us. Okay? Pay them the same thing, dust. This mystery is solved. Nolan Well was definitely unalive. I don't care what anybody say. None of this makes any sense, okay? You got a bunch of people that is working together to cover this up. Nothing is happening. No arrests, nothing. But then Carmelo is in jail for 35 years for a racist bully that tried to take him out of here. So I guess they would have been more satisfied if Carmelo would not be here, because they would have lied and said, oh, he tried to do something to him and he had to stick up for himself. So listen, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to say. A mother has to bury her son. His funeral is on Monday, and yet these people are still playing, pretending like, Nolan Wells drowned. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Okay, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and share the video, hype the video up, and I'll see y'all later.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on.
All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. I want you guys to watch this interview where it's Ben Crump, Nolan Wells' mom, and the quote unquote friend, Tashima, and her son, the black friend who quote unquote was on the island with Nolan. I want you to see how his mother gently nudges him when the reporter asked him, did he see Nolan Wells that day? Just take a look at this. It's shocking.
That is
and no one has reached out.
That is shocking, first of all, but also agonizing to think that has been that much time having passed. I mean, Javon, I want to come to you because, I mean, you're his friend. You were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you recall seeing him at all that day?
Yes, ma'am. I did see him when I was out there on the island.
Did y'all see that? As soon as he said he saw him, the mother did like this. Let's watch it again.
You're his friend. You were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you recall seeing him at all that day?
Yes, ma'am. I did see him when I was out there on the island.
And now notice the deer in the headlight looks that he gives him. This is right after his mother nudged him when he admitted to seeing Nolan on the island. What did she want him to be quiet about? That is the question. Now, we've all heard of the different inconsistencies of his story, because he was saying, well, no, that was me arguing on the island. But then Ben Crump said, no, that was Nolan's voice. And he has also, backtracked a lot of the information that he had gave the first time. So the question is, who has gotten to them? Either him and his mother. And shout out to the lady who sent me this, and as well as another lady who called and said, okay, even the parents allegedly may be a part of this. According to, her interpretation, this Ocean Springs Island type area is some sort of a cult, some sort of Illuminati in which everybody is in on it. And, maybe Nolan Wells was the sacrifice. But I had to slow this down. I'm going to play this in a slow down method, and we're going to turn the volume off so you can actually see what this mother does when the son is asked about, did he see Nolan on the island? And this is her asking the question. And look at the mother's face. She's already wrinkling her face because she's like, oh Lord, what am I going to do now? And there's the nudge. Let's rewind that nudge back once again. You see that? That's unmistakable. One more time. He said, I did see him on the island. One more time. We're going to play this in slow motion real quick. Boom. One more time, just in case you missed it. Boom. And so you all saw it with your own eyes. What is this friend, quote unquote friend, who came to get the phone have to hide? What is she telling her son not to say? Is everybody in on this cover up? Once again, they said, the Ocean Springs area, everybody's involved, the judges, the sheriff, the parents even. Somebody even said, the way the father was standing in the press conference with his hand behind his back, that was a Masonic pose, once again, allegedly. But these are things we need to ask because it seems as if nobody is getting any cooperation. Let's listen to a little bit about what he said after the nudge.
Shocking, first of all, but also agonizing to think that has been that much time having passed. I mean, Javon, I want to come to you because, you're his friend. You were on the island on the 4th. You were on a different boat. Do you recall seeing him at all that day?
Yes, ma'am. I did see him when I was out there on the island.
Can you tell me what you saw? Does anything seem strange to you about the difference that people are saying of how he was separated from the group?
You see, after the nudge, he goes to a blank stare and the mother goes to a blank stare. Just look at that. Look at their eyes.
No, ma'am. I don't think that Nolan would say, "Hey, bro, I'm staying with this girl on the island. Y'all go ahead and go back," without even bringing it, like not even asking to get his phone back. You know what I mean? I don't think that any of that.
What makes you so sure about that? Because I mean, obviously you've been with him. You spent a lot of time with him. Did you know him to be someone to leave his phone or?
Look how uncomfortable the mother is getting. You know, she's sliding up and down in her seat, closing her eyes like, please don't say the wrong thing. These people done gave us this money or they've threatened our lives. We have to be careful. That is what I'm getting from her actions.
Even say, you guys go without me?
Never. I've never.
Look at this. Look at the way he swallows in his throat.
A lot of time with him. Did you know him to be someone to leave his phone or even say, you guys go without me?
Do you see the swallow?
I've never known Nolan to stay back while his friends leave. He's always been a guy where if he rode with you, he's going to come back with you. That's always how he's been every single time.
You know, this friend of his, Trayston, also told ABC that video people have been talking about that was said to show some sort of altercation, it did not involve Nolan. He said it was actually him yelling in the video and that you and a family member were holding him back because he'd been in a fight. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. We were calming Trayston down. In that video where he said, give me my effing phone back, it sounds like him. So I'm pretty sure that he was right on that. But
Javon, I'm so sorry to think about what you must be.
See, is he lying or what? Each time we were calming Trayston down, but I'm pretty sure he was right on that. Either he was right or he was wrong. Were you calming him down? Did he get in a fight or not? So this whole thing right here seems like everybody is scared to come out with the truth. The friend, you know, the mother is nudging him. He's swallowing. She's closing her eyes. You know, they got the deer in the headlight look. So if anybody really analyzed, and shout out to the sister who sent me that, because, you know, I haven't been able to watch every last interview, but there is definitely something that she is trying to hide or she doesn't want him to say regarding Nolan Wells's murder. And because of that right there, because of that action, I'm going to keep substantiating that I feel that it was a murder. But what do you guys think about this little situation right here in this video? You know, what do you think? Why is she nudging him? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all see the number 919.
A white woman just told on white supremacy on TikTok. I agree with part of it. I reject part of it. And the other part, nobody wants to touch. And that's the part that should bother you the most. Stay with me.
No filters.
So, hey, boo. I just had a thought. One of the reasons white people hate black people is because we cannot tolerate black joy. We cannot tolerate black intelligence. We cannot tolerate black beauty. We cannot tolerate black confidence. We cannot tolerate black camaraderie. We cannot tolerate anything that frees a black person.
She cooking that chicken hard. That's what she's doing. Oh, man, the honesty is just, wow. I got no complaints so far. Please, white lady, continue.
There's a level of racism that I think hits differently for black people than it does for Asian people or Hispanic people or Middle Eastern people or Native Americans even. Each one of those things that people think regarding other races are different with Black people, I think.
Yeah.
Because again, we don't like Black people to be educated. We don't like them to be successful. We don't want Black judges. We don't want anything for Black people that doesn't directly affect and entertain us.
She's got to have 1 million subscribers by now. Because what she's saying right now, she's putting it down. She's making it very clear. Yeah, they don't want us to be lawyers or doctors or judges, but entertainers, musicians, comedians. Oh, yeah, okay, we can do that all day. No problem with that. But any position of authority that could put us in a position where we could exercise any type of power, not just over them, but over ourselves, they don't like it.
So we can have a Black nanny. We can have a Black house cleaner. We can have a Black teacher.
Yeah.
We can have a Black coach. We can have Black players. But only for the specific things that we feel comfortable with. I think about all those sweet children that have been killed, murdered, when they go out with their white friends. And I think that as much as the trauma of slavery comes down through the DNA, I think also the cruelty of slavery, the desire to hurt, the desire to steal and kill and humiliate and torment and disappear Black people.
Hold on. I don't know if I agree with that part. Is she saying that racism is inherited? She's saying that it's built into your DNA. Now, what about people cutting off the video early? They don't want to tangle with this. I don't agree with that at all, fam. I think that racism is a taught. It's a thing you learn. Babies aren't racist. What she's doing is very dangerous here, man, because she's saying basically that any racists that exist, they just are. Like, she's basically saying it's not a choice, that it's embedded in you. It's nothing you can do about it. So you're either born with it or you're not born with it. And I don't think that's true. I don't want to let racists off the hook. Not to mention, it's the same old pseudoscience type nonsense that they used to use on us. Say we were incapable, but in our DNA was an issue. And they use that to justify enslaving us, justify treating us subhuman. And I'm not going to go along with that just because somebody's saying it on the other side. Like, just because they're pointing the finger at another group of people doesn't mean I'm going to co-sign that. Now, I'm going to reject that. I'm going to say that there are people that have these beliefs and they are taught and they learn them and it becomes second nature. But that does not mean that they didn't learn them at some point. Because what she's saying is that if it's in your DNA, you got no choice, you got it. It's like having, being left-handed. It's just what you are. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that lets everybody who treats Black people horribly, who's horribly racist against Black Americans, that lets them all off the hook, fam, because what could they do? Stop being left-handed? Stop being attracted to women? Stop having brown eyes or blue eyes? Nah. No. See, this is not the answer. It's not about being nice. I want to be clear. This is not about me being nice to racists. This is about not adopting their frame just because in this one incident, you find comfort in it somehow. Nah, because it's race science is bullshit. Race science is garbage. You shouldn't accept it no matter who's saying it and no matter who they're pointing at when they're saying it. You understand what I'm saying? Because the same fingers that pointed at other people would turn and pointed at us. You're not doing us a favor. You're not doing us a favor accepting this, thinking it makes black people feel better or just because some black people are going to like it. Those black people that like this comment don't realize the ramifications of accepting race science as fact.
Is what comes down through the DNA. I think when you do something like that for long enough and you pass it down for the many years that slavery and enslaved people were in chains, that is an instinct with us, cruelty. And I think you can see it in many videos. All the white women and white men that are telling black kids and black families to get the hell out of here, you don't belong. We just don't want you to have more than us, honey.
She is staying on this talking point, and I got to keep rejecting it, fam. Now, we do not accept eugenics no matter what the rapper is that they put on the outside of it. And no matter whose ego it makes better. Even if, yeah, there are cruel people, that's true. They learn that cruelty somewhere. And they may have been practicing it so long, the way that they see black people, their racism, there may be a part of them to a certain extent, but they weren't always that way. What it was is their environment was always that way. They weren't. They're conditioned by the environment. And then they were taught to stay within the lines of that environment. But people nowadays, those people are choosing that based on family, based on associations. Now, this is dangerous, fam.
We just don't want you to be prettier. We don't want you to be the beauty standard. Okay. We don't want you to be judges or anything like that. We want you to be below us, beneath us.
There you go.
And
yeah. Now you cooking. Don't mess it up for me. Stay there. In fact, you could end the video, lady. Just end the video. Stop talking now. Because you're on point. That can be greed. That could be somebody feeling insecure. That could be greed. That could just be self-hate or whatever. But keep it there. Makes life easier on both of us.
We've tried so hard to keep you down, and we failed so badly. Because like Maya Angelou said, still you rise. We may hate you. We may beat you. We may do those things, and it makes us crazy that you keep coming back and getting better. We can't stand it. I don't know why that is. I think I heard somebody say that white people are the ones that have the ancestors that were closely related to the apes. And I believe that. We are so similar to Cro-Magnon man, Neanderthals. We're pale monkeys.
Ah! No. Can't fall for that. Don't fall for that. This is the same stuff they use against us. Look, when they use it against us, it's horrific, it's a lie, it's BS. We can't then be like, but use it on them because it fits them. Nah, it doesn't fit human beings. People can be just bad people. People can be just self-serving, self-conscious, jealous jackasses. They could be greedy, self-conscious asshole. They could be that without being Cro-Magnon, a Neanderthal descendant, smaller brains, smaller skull, not any of that eugenics. No, man. No. Nah, don't. Look, if I rejected it 30 seconds ago, I'm going to reject it again now. Because this is not it.
I really hate being white sometimes. I'm super ashamed. I think things like,
family, she's a self-hating white person. She hates herself so much that she destroys any additives, any pluses that were made in a video because she is out there. She out there, she undermines her credibility by hating herself this much. Nobody white is going to listen to her at this point who isn't the same, which is a self-hating white person. And only people going to listen are black people, and that's not going to help. Now it feels like she only did it for views. Because what white person that doesn't hate themselves is going to accept the frame that they are Cro-Magnon inferior and they should hate themselves? Man, my comment section going to be lit, ain't it?
sorry, I don't get good sleep right now. I think when I see a young black kid with a bunch of white kids, or like I try to watch for things that are happening. And I was thinking to myself, you know, if I saw a black kid hopping in a vehicle with a bunch of white kids, what would I do? I mean, you know, I could do anything. I could get the black kid to come over and say, hey, I think I know your mother, come here. And then to say, you better get away from all them white boys. But I had a brown friend of mine tell me that that was silly and that it is savior-ish. Ooh, and I don't like that. White savior.
Yeah.
And then I still do it. I have it in me that black people need my help. Mexican people need my help. Hispanic people need my help.
No.
Maybe they do.
No, white people need your help. That's who needs your help. Nah, man. See, no. White people need your help. And you're not going to help them telling them that they're horrible people and that they're apes and that their DNA is corrupted and is full of hate and bile. That's not going to work. And you're right. It is coming off as self-centered. Self-centered as hell and white savior, which is a turnoff to anybody who is in a Democrat.
They don't. If they do, oh, please forgive me. I'm so sorry.
I don't know why, but she's giving me that she used to date a black guy vibes, and maybe she was in love with him and he loved her, but she wouldn't stay with him because, you know, her dad and her mom was like, we're going to kick you out of the family.
If they do, they'll ask. That's one thing. They'll ask. And I'll know instinctually if I'm out and about and something's happening. I can just pay attention and see if there's a way for me to step to whatever the white person is doing. I don't know. We'll see. I think the cruelty lives in us, and I don't mean it like we don't have a choice. Of course we have a choice, but it comes down as instinct, and unless we work desperately, unless we work very, 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 very hard for very, very, very many years, we will never be rid of it. We'll never be rid of it anyway. But anyway, that's my thought.
Hey, look, I appreciate the attempt. I think I can say that. I appreciate the attempt, but I got to say the execution, it missed the mark. And I realize it's going to be people that just love you saying this, but I don't need a white woman to be ashamed of herself and her own existence to help me in life or to help black people out. That's not what we need. What we need is for you to go educate other white people and help them be anti-racist if possible. Because the truth is, we were rising before you found out that black people were the ish, and we're going to keep rising. And Maya Angelou belongs to us, and yeah, we are amazing, and we don't need vindication We need participation. More than that, we need just to have the playing field leveled. That's all we need. We don't need this. This does not help the cause. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. My name is Tim Black. Remember, we got to stay courageous. We got to stay bold, but most of all, we got to stay dangerous because lies are safe, but the truth is dangerous. Stay dangerous. No pandering allowed.
No.
Okay, let's get straight to the point. This Nolan Wells case is getting crazy. And one day is this and next day is that. All I know is that the family of Nolan Wells, the mother and father, they have a lot of questions and they just want some answers. You have a lot of content creators. You have a lot of social media people. You got Ben Crump. You got the attorneys. You have a lot of people who just want to see the family get answers on what happened to their son. Let the results be the results, whether it's in your favor or not. Now, Nolan Wells' funeral is going to be Monday, July the 20th, 2026. It's going to be in Ocean Spring, Mississippi at Center Point Church. But let's get to why we're here for this video. The mother has been dealing with a lot. And you can tell that she's kind of getting frustrated by some of her recent Facebook posts that she's been making on social media, Instagram, and TikTok. Now, she made this post recently about the funeral, about basically she don't want no fake love. She said, if you plan to attend Nolan's funeral in hopes that you're going to meet someone famous, stay home. We do not want that type of energy. We do not need fake love and support. His celebration of life is for family, friends, and teammates. Now, some people feel like to avoid this, probably should just make the funeral to be private, because Nolan Wells' case is being covered on a national level, a large scale. So there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be coming probably for the wrong reason. You got some people that's going to be coming to pay some respect. And you got some people that's going to be coming to pay some attention to themselves. Now, I guess people also been questioning, like, I don't know, the GoFundMe. You have some people saying that, they didn't need the money and all this kind of stuff for what they doing it for, So the mom also addressed the fact that my husband and my goal has and will always be to find out what happened to our son, Nolan Wells. Don't ever get that confused. So she's trying to let it be known, look here, don't let some money for GoFundMe, because the money cannot replace their son. I'm sure she would rather trade in that $700,000 to have her son right here at home with her right now. She would rather have that. She don't want to be going through this. So she has to let it be known. Don't get it confused. The goal is to find out what happened to my son. Because since he is not here with her, her goal is to find out what happened. Now, what even got more crazier is this. You have people that will take it a little too far, and someone has taken it too far. Someone has sent Nolan Wells' mother a suspicious letter, basically insulting them, making fun of them directly to their house. Now, how they got the address, I don't know. The mother wrote this. She said, whoever sent this to my home, may the good Lord have mercy on your soul. Bold enough to send this crap, but not bold enough to list your return address. This is America, where a grieving mother and father have to deal with this type of behavior because we asked the simple question of what happened to our son and accepted all the help we could get to find the answers. Please go touch some grass. See, the mother ain't having it. Every post you can tell, she finna get to a point to where she finna let you have it. Like she getting there. Now, this right here is what she received at her house. As you can look, you see Al Sharpton right here to the left, and you see Ben Crump. Now, I gotta be honest. If I'm gonna report something, I gotta report everything. You got some people that do feel like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton is there for the wrong reasons. You got people feel like they just there, just for the spotlight, the attention, and maybe financial gain. That's what some people feel like. You got some people that appreciate them being there, and I'm sure she does as well. So whoever sent this, if you look to the top of the letter, it was sent. It's stamped as Denver, Colorado, July the 15th, 2026. But you got to pay close attention. Look right there, Al Sharpton, right there by his eye. They drew dollar signs with an arrow pointing to dollar signs, basically saying that this is all for a money grab. Then you look over to the right side, Ben Crump, they got an arrow pointing to some dollar signs from his eyes. And they just basically trying to make fun of this and saying, look, this is all money. These guys ain't doing it but just soaking it up, getting money. They just see money. And a lot of people feel like it became a black and white thing when Ben Crump got involved. They feel like it became a black and white thing when Al Sharpton got involved. That's how some people feel. I'm just stating it because that's out there. That's no secret that some people feel like that. And for someone to send this to her house, clearly, this right here is very, very, very disrespectful. Like, the funeral is coming up Monday. The mother's going through this. She still doesn't have the answers about her son, what happened. And then she got to sit up here and receive something in the mail like this. Now, here's my thing. I know some people's addresses are public or whatever, so maybe somebody found some way to get this address. But what if it's someone right there locally that knows someone and had this sent from Denver, Colorado, and gave them the address? What if it's someone that knows them that had this done? I'm not trying to point no fingers at nobody, but it is people who close to them that felt like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, was taking advantage of Nolan Wells' parents. And I don't have to say no names. Y'all know that. It was all in the news thing when the person did the interview. I'm not saying he has anything to do with this, but I'm just pointing out the fact that people around the Nolan Wells family and considered so-called friends of Nolan Wells feel some type of way about Ben Crump and Al Sharpton being there. Because every person who has actually done an interview that's supposed to be Nolan Wells' friends have all debunked certain things. They, you can kind of tell they like, no, it's not like this. And some people feel like Al Sharpton and Ben Crump is the reason why the case is going the way it's going with all this attention. All this about we want answers. And like she said, she just want answers. This is how you treat a grieving mother who want answers? This is crazy. Y'all get in the comments, tell what y'all think about this. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. I'm Grady Mac. Holla.
Reporting live from Hypers Club, Fright Plus News, I'm Janaba. It's now been 15 days in which Nolan Wells will go on a trip with his friends, who some are now questioning if they were his friends, to Horn Island, located about 10 miles off the coast of Mississippi, where his friends would return, but he would not. According to his friends, Wells would decide to stay back because he took interest in a girl. Now, what would raise immediate questions for Wells' family, who would find out he was missing around 11 p.m. that night on July 4th. Why wouldn't Nolan have his phone with him if he was going to be separated from his group, with no ride confirmed to get back? It is because of this, many are having a hard time believing that 18-year-old Wells would leave his cell phone on a boat he traveled on and somehow hitch an unconfirmed ride back to mainland without any way of letting his friends or family know he made it back safely. Wells's body would be found 2 days later, washed ashore in the same part of the island his friends would depart from. Now, a part of his mysterious death lies race, given that Wells appeared to be the only black person amongst his group of all white friends that would travel to and from the island. Now, according to his football stats, Wells is described as being 6'1" and approximately 180 pounds, which has become another reason for some that his passing can't just be a simple drowning, because someone should have noticed him. Now, to note, there are no lifeguards on Horn Island, meaning that there isn't someone always watching the island's visitors. According to CNN's description of the island, there are no facilities, no drinking water, no structure, and no emergency services on site, meaning the island comes with a level of risk, or for some is the perfect place for a crime scene. On Friday, Wells's mother would take to Facebook to cut through the noise of commentary and racial division by speaking out that she just wants to know what happened to her son that day. Now, despite new GPS and audio information being released and the local sheriff's office investigating the case, Christine Wansley would admit she still has no idea what happened to her son 14 days later. My husband and my goal has and will always be to find out what happened to our son, Nolan Wells. Don't ever get that confused. From the looks of her statement, it appears that her form of justice is finding out what exactly happened to her son. While it also exposes a huge issue for many, why haven't authorities given her an account of what happened to her son that day? To note, at the top of Nolan Wells' mysterious death, Jackson County Sheriff Ledbetter would express he didn't see any signs of foul play initially, causing some to accuse him of trying to cover the incident up, and showed how unjust the system can be when dealing with Black lives. But now, as more and more people continue following the case, it looks like that he and his office will take a pivot, as a grand jury will now examine all of their findings that will hopefully reveal some questionable accounts about Nolan's death. Now, it is because of this lack of information and the fact that many don't know what happened to Nolan when he was reportedly last seen at 4 p.m. that day by anyone, after allegedly seeing his friends at 3 p.m., has caused a series of theories to take place, along with the most recent information.
Whole data came in from Nolan Wells. Okay, you did a whole lot of damn traveling for that boat to be damn messed up. Look, at 9:56 a.m., that boat leaves to go to Horn Island. Okay, green, that's fine, ain't nothing wrong with that. Look, the boat arrived at 11:14 at Horn Island. Fine, that adds up to me, right? Then you leave at 4:31 p.m. All right, so y'all had a good little time, but I don't know if Nolan Wells was on that boat or not. Something tells me that he was on that damn boat. Look, this is where it gets real fuzzy. From 4:31 to 5:52, they done took a damn U-turn. They went somewhere and they went to Fort Bayou. Okay, well, I thought the damn boat was messed up. You were supposed to go from Horn Island back to the dock. Y'all took your asses to Fort Bayou. Why? What was there? The boat was messed up. Why would you go there? Look, then you leave Fort Bayou and you return to the original spot at 6:06 p.m. So from 4:31 to 6:06 p.m., there is fuzziness in here. That's about an hour and a half. If I'm not mistaken, about an hour and a half. Something happened to Nolan Wells in between this time right here. From them leaving that damn Horn Island to returning back to that, something happened at Fort Bayou. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Look, and then, then after 6:06 p.m., you carry your ass back to Fort Bayou. Probably to check the scene out, make sure everything's clear. For what y'all, whatever y'all damn did. So then, after 7:19, look, the boat was transported by car to Biloxi, Mississippi. Now, y'all got some explaining to do. What happened between 4:31, basically between 6:00 and 6:06? But for real, what happened between 4:31 and 7:19? What the hell happened? Y'all know. And then the best friend told my son, well, he ain't even the best friend, because the mama cleared that up and said, you know what? That ain't his childhood friend. I don't know no Tracy. Why would his mama even name him some stupid shit like that? I don't know him. Some said we ain't want to see him die. You ain't want to see him die, then what the hell, what you do to see him die? We all didn't want to see him die. And you better stop talking, young man. You better stop talking, young man. And I think they paid you to talk. But now you sound like a fool. What happened?
Now we have the timeline from the boat GPS, which clearly shows that the boat returned back to water. This completely contradicts the conversation around the boat taking on water, like the mother, Ashley Cole, said. The questions around this case are alarming. If you watch today's press conference with the family, you can see they know something. Something came in that independent autopsy that they're not telling us, and I think I know why. They're not bringing in a grand jury unless they have a case. The question is, why haven't the boys been picked up for questioning? Why haven't their phones been confiscated so we can see all of the timeline of them having conversations? Why haven't any of them talked to the press? Why didn't any of them go out looking for Nolan, even though that boat moved around in the water after they said they left? Why hasn't the autopsy been released from the state? What are they waiting for? There's a lot of heavy unanswered questions in this case, but I think it's safe to say that we all feel the same. And almost 400 people in that live, and most of us said the same thing. Something happened, and they're hiding it.
The more information that comes out in the Nolan Wells case, the more questions I have. So let's look at this timeline. Let's talk about it. At 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the dock. At 11:14 a.m., the boat arrives at Horn Island. And around 3 o'clock p.m., Nolan is reportedly last seen. At 4:31 p.m., GPS shows the boat leaving Horn Island without Nolan. Sometimes after leaving the island, a distress call was reportedly made claiming the boat was taking on water and needed assistance. The exact time of that call is not publicly confirmed. At 5:44 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock. 5:52 p.m., GPS shows the boat traveling into Fort Bayou, and at 6:06 p.m., the boat returns to the original dock again. At 7:19 p.m., the boat goes to the Fort Bayou boat launch. Again, around 11 o'clock p.m., the Coast Guard says it was notified that Nolan was missing. Now, here's what I'm trying to understand. If the boat had a mechanical emergency that required everyone to leave the island, when exactly did that happen? How serious was the issue? Why does the GPS show the boat continuing to travel afterward? Why the additional trips to Fort Bayou? And if Nolan was last seen around 3 o'clock p.m., why wasn't the Coast Guard notified that he was missing until around 11 o'clock p.m.? Listen, I'm not saying this timeline proves anyone committed a crime. I'm saying there are questions that deserve answers. That's why the GPS data, Coast Guard records, phone records, and witness statements all need to be compared.
When I was putting together the timeline and piecing it together, there were two things that stuck out to me. One was there were several trips back and forth, and two, there is an hour and 13-minute time gap, and I'm going to talk to you about it. So first, at 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it. Here's a quick snippet. This is the only little snippet I could find.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan is on there? Who was on that boat? At 4:31, the boat leaves Horn Island and it is towed approximately 3 miles, and then the tow ends. So after 3 miles, they go back to the original dock, okay? They arrive at 5:44 p.m. So it looks like this is where Horn Island is, and this is where the original dock is that I am referring to. I looked it up, and El Camino Real Road is in Gulf Hills, Mississippi, which is right above Ocean Springs. So I'm wondering if this is the house where they got the phone. Now, the boat travels to Fort Bayou. At 6:06, the boat returns to the original dock. Then, from the original dock, the boat goes back to Fort Bayou, and then they go to the boat launch, and it is put onto the trailer and moved by the vehicle. Now, it doesn't specify what part of Fort Bayou it goes to, but it looks like on this map right here, this is where it looks like they took the boat out. If there's any locals that know this area, please chime in. Let us know your thoughts. So here's my question. Did they drop people off at the original dock, travel to Fort Bayou, pick somebody up, and go back to that original dock? And then from there, why was there an hour and 13-minute time gap? This boat was sinking hours before, and then they're just having it docked for an hour and 13 minutes. You would think they'd want to get that boat out of the water ASAP.
Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we've heard Wells's mother reveal that she and her family still don't have an answer to what happened to Nolan 2 weeks after his body was found on a Mississippi beach where he was last seen amongst friends, why do you think that is? And what are your theories with the newest released information? Reporting live from Rivers Club, Fright Plus News, I'm John Abba.
Live. What's up, family? We got a white dude who says that he knows what happened to Nolan Wells. Yeah, fam, he says he knows what happened to Nolan Wells because he's seen it before. He's hung out with guys just like the guys who Nolan hung out with. Yeah, so I'm gonna let you watch the video and you tell me what you think of it. Then I'm gonna come back with some points that many people think is the reason why there's foul play involved. Rather than establishing it as fact, I am going to just make some points, just lay it out there, and you let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Check it out.
I'm about to tell you what happened to Nolan Wells. I could put any money in the fucking world. Yeah, I hung out with a lot of white people like that in high school. And although I'm white myself, I certainly am not one of them. But I did have the pleasure of being their friend, and I guess that came with being the butt of every joke and enjoying the finer things in life. But this is textbook. I can give you a fucking play-by-play, I promise you. See, what had happened was they were getting rowdy, whatever the case may be, drinking all day. Something happened, malicious or not, doesn't really fucking matter. And those boys saw him take his last breath. I guarantee you that. They had an oh fuck moment, got scared, left him, drove the boat off, went home, told mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy told him to shut the fuck up and got him over. It's textbook. Again, I saw this shit happen over and over again growing up. This is how they fucking operate every single motherfucking time. You want to know what happened to Nolan Wells? Go ask some boys. The problem is now you got to drag it through court because they lawyered up. But they fucking know. They most certainly fucking know.
I ain't got no problem with that. I think they know too. I absolutely think that they know what happened to Nolan Wells. You can't tell me nothing different. I don't give a damn what the sheriff says. I don't give a damn what the coroner says. I do not give a damn what the medical examiner says, because all of them have a history of dropping the legal ball. Yeah. Some of them have a history of making sure that Black people did not get justice when they were murdered by white people. Yeah, and did I mention we're talking about the state of Mississippi, one of the most backwards ass states in the entire world. I mean, these motherfuckers are backwards. Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't put nothing past them. And I mean all of them. I'm talking about the fire department, the police department, the hospitals, the coroner's office, the courts, all of it. The schools, I don't trust none of them. So, yeah, fam. Anyway, I made a list of concise points that are framed as reasons some people suspect foul play rather than asserting it as established fact, right? So here we go. Here goes nothing. Let's start off with the unanswered timeline questions. Inconsistency in the timeline. The boys left the island reportedly on the boat around 4 o'clock, around 4 something, and they didn't get back to land till around 6:30. They only had to travel for 10 miles. What took so long? Now, I do know that there was some mechanical issue with the boat, but from what I understand, they got help right away and the boat took off. So did something happen between there? Did something happen between that moment that they had mechanical issues? I'm not sure about that. I'm leaning more towards something happened at that pool party. I'm leaning more towards Nolan making it to land. I believe he was on that boat with those boys. He made it to land. And here's the thing, fam. If you listen to that call in distress, well, typically an operator, an emergency person is going to ask, well, how many people are on the boat? They said they got to, how many people on the boat? What size is the boat? This way we know what kind of equipment to bring, what type of boat we need to send out there. How big is the boat? How many people are on the boat? Wouldn't that be like a normal question, a line of questioning? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. There were questions about where the body was found. Again, we got witnesses who say that Nolan was at that pool party at 1 a.m. This is after July 4th. So this is after the boating trip. The boys say that Nolan went to go talk to some girl. He took off and got on a boat or something with some girl. Well, the girl that was interviewed said, no, he left with his friends. I tend to believe the girl, but I don't know who she is. We need to identify exactly who she is. I heard her name, but I don't want to repeat it because I haven't confirmed it. The family disputes the official narrative. Usually when the family is suspicious of something, the family is usually right. So I'm rocking with the family 100%. The witness accounts have raised major concerns. These witnesses, they are telling all types of tales. They got a different story. Every time you turn around, it's something else. Oh, I forgot this. Oh, I added this, It's something that they're omitting. And it's a new witness popping up all the time. What's up with that? See, the thing is, I do believe that they killed Nolan. I don't know who they is. They are his friends, our so-called friends. I do believe they killed him. And I do believe that it's too many of them to keep the secret. So I believe that others know what they did. Other people know what they did. But the thing is that this wall of silence happens a lot in these type of cases. White people are guilty of killing black people. Black people come up missing. When white people are guilty of killing black people under suspicious circumstances, historically, white people do not tell. They do not tell. They don't say anything. Maybe we can break the cycle this time around because there are a number of white people speaking out now. And I actually admire y'all for speaking out. Because I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons why these type of things continue to happen is because many of you do not speak out. You know, maybe you don't want to be ostracized. Maybe you do it, because you don't want to be targeted. You do it out of fear. You stay silent out of fear. Maybe you one of those white people who think that, well, as long as I'm not killing them, as long as I'm not saying the N-word, I'm a good person. No, you're not. Because silence is complicit. Yeah. So anyway, some details remain unexplained. Yeah. Some details remain unexplained. How about that toxicology report? I need to see that. I need to see the toxicology report. We need to see the autopsy. Need to see those phone records. The phone records are going to tell a lot. And not just Nolan's phone records. We need to see everybody involved phone records. We need to see all of the boys that were on the boat phone records. We need to see every person that was at that pool party, including the mother of the house phone records. We need to see that judge's phone records. That was Warren's mother. I believe his name is Warren. I think his name is Warren. We need to see his mother. Whichever one of them boys' mama is the judge, we need to see her phone records. I am sure they are going to say a lot. And we need to see those social media account records. We need the forensics to do their job. We need those digital forensic analysts to do their job. Public confidence in the investigation is absolutely divided. And it's as simple as white and black. Most white people are saying, hey, just what does the authorities say? Well, like the authorities haven't been known to be corrupt. Like the authorities are holier than thou. Like you ain't got corrupt officials all throughout law enforcement, all throughout the medical examiners' offices across this country, all throughout the judicial system. Like you ain't got corrupt investigators. Like you ain't got corrupt party searchers. Like you ain't got corrupt first responders. I don't trust none of them. So that is why the family called for an independent review of the case. They want an independent review of the case. They've already ordered an independent autopsy funded by Colin Kaepernick's organization. Shouts out to Colin Kaepernick, who's doing some incredible work. Then you have the lingering questions that is fueled by public skepticism. Some evidence has been interpreted differently by independent analysts. That part right there is not necessarily a red flag that something happened, but it's something that needs to be looked at. It absolutely needs to be investigated. If you have independent analysts saying something different, then you got to go in a little deeper and look at the so-called official findings, right? You got people out there who are saying, man, won't y'all just stop reporting on it? Won't y'all just stop reporting? I like to wait for the evidence. I like to see what's going on first, and let's see what the authorities say. What the authorities say? The authorities said day one, we don't suspect foul play. These are the same people who regularly get sued for discrimination and racial profiling and racism. Routinely. We supposed to trust them? Wait to see what the authorities say? Hell no. Independent review today, independent review tomorrow, independent review forever. We don't trust them. And they earn that mistrust. We didn't just wake up and say, oh, we don't trust law enforcement. You think people just walk around wanting to not trust law enforcement? Most sane individuals would love to trust law enforcement because everybody wants to feel safe. Even a criminal wants to feel safe. But law enforcement have shown time and time again that it is very difficult to decipher the good guys from the bad guys, even if they have a badge and a gun. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear you.
After an eventful day in Clark County involving a deputy sheriff and 6 sheriff officers resigning from the force, emergency crews were dispatched to Clarko State Park after a call about a potential drowning. Clark County Emergency Management Agency's director, Bradley McNeese, told Twin States more about the incident.
Approximately 5:30 yesterday evening, we received a call about a possible drowning on the dive pier at Clarko State Park. We were told it was an 18-year-old male who had dove in and had not come back up.
McNeese explained that emergency crews quickly arrived on scene.
We're on scene within less than a minute, one of which dove in the water and attempted to begin trying to locate the male. I went on and notified Lima dive team. They had folks headed to me instantly. We had a boat in the water within 10 minutes.
Even though rescue teams arrived quick and swift, the young man had drowned in the water. The name of the victim has been released as Mr. Chad Lakeith Pittman. McNeese gave advice to residents to remember while swimming in deep waters this summer.
If you're not a good swimmer, stay where your feet still touch the ground. If you have young kids or not sure if they can swim, life jackets are always a positive. Parents always need to be around and aware of where your children are around water.
The Clark County Emergency Agency asked for residents to keep this young man's family and friends in their prayers as they go through this difficult and tragic time. Joseph Jernigan, Twin States News, Meridian.
And this is our dear brother, Chad Pittman, who 18 years old drowned in that lake in Clark County, Mississippi. Lake Quitman. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And this is yet another suspicious drowning of a young man, 18-year-olds, in the state of Mississippi. And this happened, get this, on May the 14th or the 26th of this year, approximately 2 months ago. Very little news coverage. I mean, I could barely find a news story. You just saw that little, it looks like a little Facebook news story where, they have the deputy up there and then you have this white guy and he looks very soulless, like, this is a plan. We got to put this together just to show the community that, we are concerned about this. But another suspicious drowning has taken place, and this family as well has yet to receive answers. Now, this is the Facebook post that first alerted me to the situation. And in the Facebook post, the family is still questioning what really happened to their son. Just read along with me. And here you see it. The devastating drowning of 18-year-old Chad Lakeith Pittman at Clarko State Park has left his family demanding answers. Despite the official ruling of accidental drowning, discrepancies in the timeline and the silence of the friends who were with him leave grieving loved ones searching for the truth. On Monday, May the 18th, 2026, an idyllic afternoon at Clarko State Park turned into a parent's worst nightmare. 18-year-old Chad Lakeith Pittman, a beloved resident of Quitman, Mississippi, was enjoying the water with a group of friends. Around 5:30 p.m., emergency responders received a distress call. First responders and a dive team from the Lauderdale Emergency Management Agency arrived at the scene quickly and within an hour recovered Chad's body. While local officials initially listed it as an accidental death, the Pittman family's grief is compounded by confusion. The circumstances surrounding Chad's final moments are murky, and the timeline of events remains shrouded in mystery. His family is struggling to understand exactly who was present when he went under, how long he was in distress, and why help wasn't called sooner. To a grieving family, the silence from the group of friends who accompanied him that day is deafening. For the Pittmans, the sudden loss of a young man with his whole future ahead of him is unbearable, but the pain is made worse by the lack of transparency. They are not just mourning a tragic accident, they are questioning how an 18-year-old could lose his life while surrounded by peers who were supposed to have his back. The family is pleading for anyone with information to step forward. They want their friends who were there that day to break their silence and provide a full, honest account of exactly what transpired. For the Pittman family, healing cannot begin until they get transparency and justice that Chad deserves. And so here we have yet another situation where the friends who were with him are remaining silent. Why is that? And of course, I could only assume that he went out there to the lake with some of his white friends. Now, the Clark County area is sort of mixed. It got about 68% white and about 30% black. So, and actually, you're going to hear from a quote unquote relative who said he went out there with one of his black coworkers. But according to reports, he was a good swimmer. So, contrary to what that deputy says, it wouldn't have mattered what side of the water or what size or how deep of the water he was in because he was reportedly a good swimmer. But there's questions about who was with him, how long did he stay under, how long was help called for, et cetera, et cetera. And so this once again mirrors the Nolan Well case, once again happened in Mississippi, out there with some white friends, went on a trip, enjoying the afternoon, all of a sudden he's dead. And if you look at, our dear brother again, he doesn't look like someone who, would just dive off the deep end knowing he can't swim. So here is a quote unquote relative or family member of him speaking once again, not on a news station, but on like a social media platform. Just check this out.
Your son and your brother, Chad Pittman, was allegedly drowned in a lake in Quitman, Mississippi. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
So tell me, Christopher, on May the 18th, what happened to Chad? How did he start his day?
Chad had went to school that day. He lived with his mother in Quitman, Mississippi. He got out of school. He had on jeans when he got out of school, so he changed it to shorts. The guy he previously worked with is of color. He called Chad and asked him to ride with him. And Chad
So the guy that he worked with was his cousin?
Of color. He of color, our color.
Oh, he was a black man. Okay, so the gentleman that called him was a black man. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So he called Chad, one of Chad's co-workers, and he told his mother, he said, I'm finna go ride with the guy. And they left, and Chad texts his mother at like between 4:10 and 4:20. And asked her to borrow, Mama, can you cash out me $6.30? And his mother like, okay, she sent it to him. And she said within 5 21, she got a numerous call saying that Chad was underwater and they couldn't find him.
Your son.
So evidently that man is a relative and has some inside information. And as he mentioned, the guy he went out there with was a former coworker, and he was allegedly a person of color. And we all know all skin folks ain't kin folks, but yet and still he texts his mother for some money. And then within about a half hour later, he ends up dead. And I'm going to show you this one news article that I did find. It's very, very brief, very, very brief, but there is something that sticks out. Here you see it says drowning, 18-year-old drowns at Clarko State Park. Dive teams recovered the body within an hour of initial call. An 18-year-old man drowned at Clark K State Park on Monday evening, according to Clark County Fire Chief Bradley Manise. He said they received a call about a possible drowning at 5:30 p.m. Monday. Manise said a boat was in the water with sonar within minutes, and the LEMA team was also dispatched. Divers were on the scene and in the water within 20 minutes of the initial call. The recovery is completed in an hour. The victim has been identified as Chad Keith Pittman. Multiple agencies responded to the incident, including LME Dive Team, Meridian Fire Department, blah, blah, blah. Manise says his department's thoughts and prayers go out to the family during this time. Notice they never said that they were investigating. Oh, well, he just drowned and that's it. Right? You heard the first guy say, well, yeah, well, just if you jump in the water, just make sure you're in good water. You're in water you can stand. Like, there's no speculation, there's no conversation, there's no questioning of these individuals. Now, you heard at the beginning of that first article, it said the sheriff and about 6 deputies resigned from that area. So maybe this was the perfect time that the white racist supremacists knew, okay, well, we can easily catch a body. Oh yeah, call let's get Johnny to call Chad out there, and let's sacrifice to the god of Neptune, god of the water, Poseidon. Let's go ahead and make us a sacrifice as July approaches. So this is another case that's not getting very much publicity. I wanted to share this because it follows the pattern. Black guy goes out to the water with white people, possibly, and ends up dead. White people are not questioned, and everybody goes home and eat quiche and macaroni salad with raisins in it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Y'all see the number 9195.
Let's cook. Okay, people, we have a never forget story right here. We're going to talk about the black child, Talia Lowe. Never forget. I covered this story on the original Runaway Slave channel, and I think that black content creators should continue to cover this Talia Lowe situation, which is very unfortunate. Now, this happened in the year of 2021, but we still need these reminders. Talia Lowe, 18 years of age, very smart young black woman. Her family and friends loved her. They adored her. They describe her as silly, funny, smart, amazing personality. Everybody who knew Talia loved her, they say. Now, Talia was doing her thing. She was doing well in life, okay? She was a freshman at Grand Valley State University. Grand Valley State is in Michigan. Now, when she was at Grand Valley State University, she became friendly with a few white girls. These girls were named Rachel Paulson and Chloe Ward. Now, these white girls that she became friendly with, they don't sound like they were such good people at all.
Racist white people will wait as long as it fucking takes. You hear me? They'll wait as long as it takes to snake you out. So when you're the only black indigenous one in the whole entire group, and all your friends are the white tea motherfuckers, like that's not a safe thing. It's really not. And let me tell you something: having fair skin and being the only one that looks like myself in a group full of people that are indigenous and melanated, I've never felt threatened, not once. You hear me? You know how many times I felt threatened and felt like I had to worry about anything? Zero. Because the black indigenous people do not do that snake ass shit. Yes, there is something to do that do fucked up shit, whatever. That's never race. But like I said, they're not gonna befriend you. If you want it them, you want it them. If you in, you in. Now these white people in the case of Nolan Wells, right here, these white people in the case of Nolan Wells, how is it the only one that goes missing is the melanated man? The melanated young brother. How is he the only one that goes missing? Nobody knows anything? Nah, you white team motherfuckers know exactly what happened to him. Y'all know what the fuck y'all did. Y'all some fucking real bitch ass cowards. Like I said, don't surround yourself with all white tea people if you're the only one of darker skin, you hear me? Because a lot of times they really envy you. A lot of times they really just want to hurt you and they'll lie and wait however long it fucking takes for years. Like I said, these aren't just outright racist. These are undercover racist motherfuckers. Fuck them just as well. Fuck all you racist motherfuckers. And we're going to get answers and figure out what happened.
Okay. So they're doing their thing on the campus, you know, doing what college students do or whatever. And on Thursday, October 14th, between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, Talia was invited by her new friends, so-called Rachel Paulson and Chloe Ward, to a place called Pier Marquette Beach in Muskegon, Michigan. Now, this drive to this place would take 30 minutes. It's about a half hour away from campus. So they head out and go there. Now, on the way to this beach, they picked up two boys, okay? So it was them and these two boys. We don't know their names, people. They all proceed to this beach. This is Lake Michigan, and October is after 10 p.m. Now, it's also a known fact that Talia, who is the only black one there, she can't swim. She doesn't like the water. She has a condition in one of her arms that makes this arm partially paralyzed. Talia does not play around with the water. Her whole family knows that. Anybody that really knows her knows that about her. At 10:48 p.m., there was a 911 call reporting that somebody was struggling against the current in the water. By 1:45, they were pulling Talia Lowe's lifeless body out of the water. Just like that, you all. And that's the end of the story. They say that she went out there and just drowned. We don't know what happened, but nobody believes this. The Muskegon Police Department recorded this incident as an accidental drowning. That's it. No foul play. The two white girls said that they all got into the water and a riptide came and took Talia. They said they survived the riptide, but Talia didn't. People, this story gets even dumber. Doesn't make any sense. These two white girls, Rachel Paulson and Chloe Ward, they packed up Talia's clothes and took her phone before the police and rescue squads got there. These will be the clothes that she got out of to get in the water and swim. The water that Talia Lowe, everybody who knows her knows that she doesn't mess with the water. She can't swim. She would not get in the water, and one of her arms is partially paralyzed. Okay? They packed up her clothes and took her phone before the rescue squads and police got there. Not done yet, people. One of these white girls named Rachel Paulson that was with her set up a GoFundMe 1 hour after Talia died. Rachel Paulson, she set up a GoFundMe in Talia Lowe's memory. They did delete it, but this GoFundMe had already raised about $2,500 before it was taken down. And Talia Lowe's family said they have no idea where that money went. On this GoFundMe, this girl, Rachel Paulson, wrote, "On the night of October 14, 2021, me and my friends witnessed the passing of Talia, a beautiful young soul, due to a drowning incident from a current we had all experienced. Anything helped to help make this memorial set for her. Her life was ended too short, and we want to give her the send-off she deserves." That sounds very bizarre to me. Now, one of Talia's other friends, okay, whom I don't know her name, She called Talia's phone when she heard that Talia had passed away, just to make sure, like, is this really true? And when she called Talia's phone, she didn't get an answer. But the white girls who had Talia's phone called her back, and they were asking her if she knew Talia's password. She said she didn't give these girls Talia's password, but the girls found out the password anyway because it was her birthday. Condolences to the family of Talia Lowe. This is a real messed up story. This girl didn't get in this water at her own will. She might have been forced into that water. Something definitely happened here. You know, they believe that these boys that they picked up brutalized Talia, forced her in the water, and the girls were in on it. You know, they can tell that something went on with her body when they viewed it. She was brutalized. You know, her hair was pulled out, all kinds of stuff like that. That's what her family says. And this is really messed up. Don't know what it is, just based off of the time and when they went. Sounds like it could have been one of them satanic rituals. Is October. They're going out here at 10, 11 at night. She drowns at 1 in the morning. Could be something to do with their religion, a satanic ritual, something where they have to move up in the ranks and do something to a body. You know, but I believe that these people definitely did this to her, and they were all in on it because it's just too stupid. The white community that they come from knows what happened. Even black people and people in Talia's family, they know something happened, but they just can't prove it. There's enough evidence out there. I mean, these white people, those two girls, like their parents and stuff, they were on social media going hard ignorant. I used to see some of the posts that they made, like real cold and disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But this is how they deal with black people, you know, lynchings, drownings, nothing new. You know what I mean? It's very common for them to do. Many videos on the old channel, this channel, Tamla Horsford, Elijah Nikki Witherspoon. It goes on and on. It goes on and on. I don't believe that Talia got in that water willingly. You know, this is really messed up. I believe they tortured her into that water. Another dangerous fact that comes into play when black youth, they go out, black adults even, when they go out and they're the token and stuff like that, where they're amongst white people, they're the only one they get around white people, they often feel pressured to do things that they wouldn't do with white people just to fit in. You know, you got to understand first that most people who are tokens, they already have low self-esteem and an inferiority complex around white people. So a lot of times people are pressured into doing certain things that they normally wouldn't do. I'm not saying Talia said, oh, I'm gonna go out there. I think they did something to her and put her out there, me personally, you know what I mean? But you gotta understand, black people, when they're tokens around white people, especially the young ones, but the older ones too, they're very different, you know? They're very different. Some people may say, oh, well, I know him, I know her. He's strong, she's strong, a leader, outspoken, they take no stuff. That's when y'all around them. You don't know how these people act and what they represent in a room or a car or a place full of white people, especially a black person who would put themselves in a position to be a token. This is a real messed up story, man. Talia will never come back. These girls who went out there with her, they already graduated from college, on their way, living their white life. You know, this really upsets me because Talia was only 18. She was so young and she didn't get a chance to make a mistake and learn. You know, the dangers of being the token black person, the dangers of being the only black person riding around with white people at 10, 11, 1 in the morning, going to the water. What seems to be happening a whole lot more now is our young people aren't getting a chance to make a mistake. I mean, we're taking some serious L's. That's why we have to be proactive, man. You know, after this happened to Talia Lowe, I seen people, I believe family members, very upset as they should be. You know, I read some things with them saying they want to go down the street and do a protest in this area in Michigan. It's over. It's over. These people are not breaking their Pale Voltron. That's a reactive response. We have to be proactive because these people didn't start being racist once something happened. You know, I read some stuff where people said, yeah, those people are racist and this and that. Okay, this is why we have to learn not to get in the car with them and go to the water at 10, 11, 1 in the morning. What do you have to see for you to for them to qualify to be a racist? That's the thing. Does this have to happen first? What has to happen? You know what I mean? A lot of times Black people get this other thing confused also with making it out. You know, we think making it out, doing better than certain relatives or other people from the neighborhood or whatever who may be going to jail, doing skid bids, going to state prison, girls getting pregnant and stuff. And, you know, Talia's going to college. She's doing good. Yeah, but she got to watch out too. That's true. And I'm not just saying just her. I'm talking about in general, people. I'm just using her name because this is an example. I don't know the mindset that her people had about that. But what I'm saying is just because we go into these situations where it may be college, it may be somewhere positive. If it's white people there, if it's Black people there, you have to stay on point, man. Things become very dangerous and tricky and confusing for Black people when white people are in the equation because we just don't know how to act. We don't get it. We don't know our history. We don't know the state of things that are going on. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, this is just a real messed up situation. Condolences to the family of Talia Lowe again. This is really messed up. And, you know, these white people out there in Michigan, they got this thing airtight. They're not going to do anything, unfortunately. Easy.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? I'm sure you're familiar with the Nolan Wells case by now. There probably isn't one person in the media who hasn't covered the story extensively, including myself. What you may not have heard about is the TJ Davis case. TJ was in St. Paul, Minnesota, hanging out with his white friends by a body of water. Ironically, TJ's body was pulled from the Mississippi River. 5 years ago, fam, I hadn't heard about it, and I'm in the media. Hadn't heard about it at all, but I'm on it now. I am on it, and I'm gonna do my best to bring you guys up to speed. Here's a news story.
Flowers, candles, and balloons hang from the railing at this memorial along Mississippi River Boulevard.
We did a memorial and go look, and it just started growing.
To remember 20-year-old TJ Davis.
Just a lovable guy, like you wanted to. Just a lovable guy, like you wanted to be around him. And that smile, you know, is just lights you up.
Shearer says she found out early Sunday that her son went missing on the Mississippi River while out with 4 other friends.
I had a sheriff from Ramsey County and a police officer from St. Paul. They came knocking on my bedroom door window. When they left, I cried for my mom. I lost her 3 months ago. I wanted my mom, and I couldn't. I needed her to hug me.
The Ramsey County Sheriff's Office say they continued their search effort throughout the night. Around 11 a.m. Sunday, deputies recovered TJ's body near the Marshall Street Bridge.
I have a lot of questions. And they're it takes time, and I feel I'm determined to get all those answers. I need to know what happened to my son here.
As one by one, TJ's friends and family pay their respect. She's waiting for answers and closure.
Just seems very odd that all 4 boys made it out except my son. And it hurts me.
While holding on to her son's memory.
I'll see you one day. I won't say goodbye. I always say, see you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile.
In St. Paul, Charmaine Nero, KARE 11 News.
Okay, fam. Now I want to introduce you to TJ's mom's IG page. She has been on this thing nonstop posting. And I'm telling you, I haven't seen anything, fam. And I'm in the news, hadn't seen anything about it whatsoever. But as I said in the beginning, I am on the case now. This is her IG page. And as you can see, she has been posting nonstop. Before I go any further, let me pay homage to this woman right here. She goes by the name of Sunny, I believe. But this woman has been on the case from day one, and I'm assuming that this case will probably start getting some traction. And when it does, just remember, this woman right here, she was on it first, and she's all over the case. As you can see, look at how all of these are posted by TJ over the last 5 years. Every single post is about TJ. Mama trying to get justice for her son, who she believes was murdered, and who I believe was murdered too, by his friends. TJ was out with 4 white friends, allegedly white friends, and alleged white friends. And everybody came back home but TJ. I wonder how that keeps happening. It's just so odd that it keeps happening, that every time the black kid hangs out with his white friends and somebody gets killed or something goes awry, the victim is always the black kid. What's that about? I wonder what the hell is that about? If y'all, I can't figure it out. Check this out.
She is the mother of this handsome young man, TJ Davis. TJ, being the young man that he was, decided to go to a house party with 4 young white men that he thought were his friends. The house party was held at one of their houses. About 3-something in the morning, Shira is getting pounding on her door in her bedroom window. She is the mother. This is Shira Davis. She is the mother of this handsome young man, TJ Davis. TJ, being the young man that he was, decided to go to a house party with 4 young white men that he thought were his friends. The house party was held at one of their houses. About 3-something in the morning, Shira is getting pounding on her door and her bedroom windows by the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department. They're telling her that TJ is missing. They further explain that they believe that TJ could possibly be in the Mississippi River. There are a lot of questions, and this is Shira's IG, that Shira has in regards to what happened to her son, and no one's been charged. How do 5 young men go out, 4 of them being white, 1 of them being black, and the black young man doesn't come home? How does that happen? Shira has been relentless in her quest for answers. This is her TikTok page. These young men have barely been questioned. these young men were allowed to have time to get their answers and their stories straight. Their stories align so much that they are basically telling the exact same story, which is a never happened ever with anyone. Do you tell the exact same story? But that's what they're doing, and that's not going to work. So Shira has been on a plight to have and find answers. It's not about justice. It's about the answers that she needs. You can go to Shira's TikTok. You can go to Shira's Instagram, and you will see everything of how she talks of TJ and what her experience has been thus far, just trying to get attention and, once again, answers. This is Shira Davis. She is the mother.
Okay. So here's a map of, it's like a map of the Mississippi River in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is where TJ's body was pulled from. And as you can see, the GoFundMe doesn't really have any traction. They had a goal of $50,000. This is 5 years ago, fam. And that's the only money that has been raised so far. We got to get the word out. And I'm going to tell you something else. I say we probably need to switch platforms and put our own, we need to put TJ campaign on United Give. We need to put we probably need to switch this GoFundMe and put TJ's campaign on Unite Give, because we're going to do a better job at getting the story out. That's the benefit of putting your campaign on Unite Give, is that we got media connections and that we talk to the media every day. We're in it. We got a direct connect to the people. We own it all day, every day, for real. This ain't just where you come put your story on their platform, then it's just there and it's all up to you from there. Now we're gonna help you blow your campaign up and let people know what's going on, put some eyeballs on it. But this woman has been posting nonstop for 5 years. That's love right there, fam. That's the love of a mother. That is the love of a mother. The love of a mother. Justice for TJ. I wanted to bring y'all to this picture, this video down here where his mother is speaking. Let's see, where is it? I think it may be this one.
Well, today is Sunday.
So here she's talking about the district attorney, John Chow. And I'm not going to play it because it's got music, but she's basically saying that the DA dismissed her. DA don't want to talk. The sheriff department ain't talking. The police department, the St. Paul Police Department isn't talking. They basically disrespected this woman and dismissed her. And essentially it was like, hey, case closed. And the case is closed. Officially, the case has been closed for 2 years. But mama say, hell no. Mama say, hell no, we ain't closing nothing. I'm on it, and I'm going to keep on digging. I'm going to keep on pressing until I get some answers. All of the boys, they went dark. In fact, she mentioned their names. That's the video I was looking at. I've been watching so many of her videos. I failed to mark the one what she was talking about. She mentioned their names, but let me see. I think I might be on it right here. Let's see. Right up in here somewhere, I think is where I saw that, where she mentioned the boys' names. Morgan, Will, Ramsey, Garrett. Y'all don't have a soul.
Kofi.
Now, there is a petition that she has, and I believe it's in her.
His screen closed.